Some people who watched that made comparisons between a rally that happened at Madison Square Garden in 1939 with neo-Nazis or Nazis back then. Do you see those comparisons? And can you also expand on what he said and what you said yesterday about Puerto Rico?
Donald Trump this is not new about him, by the way. What he did last night is not a discovery.
But let's also go to what Donald Trump himself said last night, that some of the black men groups that I've been debating about why they can't be with Trump, he said, I could be laying out in the beach with my white skin getting tanned. I mean, this is Donald Trump's mouth. Right. Saying this. So I said to those on the fence, this is not a real racial signal. My pretty, white, beautiful, white skin. Yeah. Donald Trump said this last night at his homecoming.
The greatest resorts in the world. I could have been extremely happy. I could have had those beautiful waves smack me in the face. I could have had the beautiful suntan. This white skin could have been tan and beautiful.
So when people said that this was like reminiscent of the supremacist rally in 1939, the Nazis, I think that it lived up to that.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I gotta tell you guys, the mainstream liberal media, they're currently losing their minds in desperation over the fact that Kamala Harris is losing to former President Trump, okay? And they are really trying to find something to stop the momentum that the Trump campaign is currently gaining going into the election. Now, they are boohoo whining and crying about jokes that comedian Tony Hinchcliffe told at the Trump Madison Square Garden rally, which was an extremely successful rally, a rally that Kamala Harris could never have, even in a place like New York City, okay? Even if she had all of these celebrities like Beyonce and George Clooney and all these people that have come out in support of Democrats, even if she had all those people, she still would not be able to pack the arena the same way that Trump did, okay? It was amazing. It was excellent. And it was damn near perfect, to be quite honest with you. And I don't want to hear anything else outside of that, right? Because that is what the media wants you to believe, which is that comedian Tony Hinchcliffe somehow, some way lost Trump votes because he told jokes about Puerto Ricans and basically everybody, right? Again, that's the narrative that they're pushing here, okay? They're currently pearl clutching over jokes. Now, I want you guys to understand how ridiculous this is, okay? Because they're claiming that these jokes were offensive. However, you had a ton of people at this rally that were of different races, okay? From all across the spectrum, religions, Jews, Christians, Muslims, right? Tons of people. It's not offensive to say that the people that are attending this rally are attending a Nazi rally, right? Which basically would imply that you are a Nazi or you're a Nazi sympathizer or a Nazi supporter if you attended the rally. No. You're not supposed to get offended by that, right? That's not offensive, okay? No. What you're supposed to be offended by are jokes, okay? And this is what the mainstream media is boohoo whining and crying about on basically every network this morning. Take a look.
It's worth noting that while we showed you that joke about the pile of garbage that comedian made, he also said something else about Latino voters that I can't play because I know a lot of you are probably at the breakfast table with your little kids, and if we played it, you'd have to shut us off because it was so incredibly crude that it's a family program and we're just not going to do it.
I think a lot of people are seeing that rally at Madison Square Garden, seeing all those people. Doesn't mean he's going to win the race, but my point is it's discouraging that so many people would gather and rally to hate speech in America. That it's discouraging and it hurts that people who have family in Puerto Rico, who are Puerto Rican Americans, who are American citizens, are hearing hate like that. It's discouraging.
So, Congressman, last night, right here in New York City, your hometown, Donald Trump held a packed rally at Madison Square Garden, and a number of speakers used downright racist and offensive language, no more so than the so-called comedian who said that Puerto Rico was an island of garbage. Can you just give us your reaction to what you heard last night, just hours and hours of frankly, hate, and what, frankly, how it could electrify this electorate?
Well, there's a couple of things. As you mentioned, this was a hate rally. Mm-hmm. This was not just a presidential rally. This was also not just a campaign rally. I think it's very important for people to understand that these are mini January 6th rallies. These are mini Stop the Steal rallies. These are rallies to prime an electorate into rejecting the results of an election if it doesn't go the way that they want.
This Puerto Rican has something to say about the island that I love, where my family is from. Puerto Rico is trash. We are Americans, Donald Trump. Americans. We voluntarily serve disproportionately high in the military while you have bone spurs. And we vote. Pennsylvania is home to almost 500,000 Puerto Ricans. North Carolina, 115,000. Georgia, 100,000. Arizona, 64,000. Wisconsin, 61,000. Michigan, 43,000. Nevada, 27,000. We vote Donald Trump. Trash?
Because he reflects what Trump has said his entire lifetime. Maybe that will be enough for you. And on November 5th, I want you to vote for your heritage and your traditions and your identity. I want you to vote with dignity and self-respect. Latinos, comunidad, si ustedes tienen respeto por sí mismos, si tienen dignidad, defiendan esa dignidad y usen sus votos el 5 de noviembre para sacar a Donald Trump.
Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that. Clearly, this is a bunch of fake outrage designed to make people vote based off their emotions, right? That is what they're trying to do, okay? They want you to think that it makes sense to not vote for Trump or to vote against Trump because a comedian told a joke that Trump didn't tell, right? Because of something Trump did not say. This is the argument that they're making. And again, to me, what really pisses me off about the fake outrage from the liberal media is that if they were as outraged about the actual origin of the joke, why the joke was made, then maybe, just maybe, they would actually be bettering people's lives if they had as much outrage about the actual trash crisis that is in Puerto Rico, okay? Puerto Rico has a trash crisis, okay? Apparently, the island has a trash problem, which is why the joke was made, okay? He clearly wasn't calling Puerto Ricans trash people. He was referencing an actual problem that all of these people who are now boo-hooing and crying, Puerto Ricans are so offended. You got to go out here and vote because of your identity. Vote against Trump if you care about Puerto Rico. Apparently, none of these people actually give a damn about the real problems in Puerto Rico, which, again, the reason why the joke exists, a lot of jokes, again, are grounded in some type of truth. Okay, that joke was, they don't care about the actual issue because they have nothing to say whatsoever about the actual problem. Okay, I think personally, again, if there was as much outrage about this problem, you would actually help out more Puerto Ricans than being outraged over a joke. I don't think you're helping out any Puerto Ricans by telling them to vote for Kamala Harris, whose administration clearly doesn't give a damn about the problem. Okay, but they want you to come out here and to get all emotional over a joke that they would have no problems with if a liberal comedian, like, for example, George Lopez, told this type of joke that is supposed to be offensive to Latinos. They had no problems when this guy was essentially trying to say that Mexicans are thieves. Take a look.
Donald Trump said he was going to build a wall, and George Lopez said, you better build it in one day, because if you leave that material out there overnight.
Yeah, so I want you guys to understand, when a Democrat comes out and makes an offensive joke based off race, right, a racialized joke, there's no pearl clutching, right? They don't have anything to say, right? There's no, oh my God, the Mexicans, why are you making jokes about Mexicans so offensive? No, none of that, right? None of that. Silence, crickets, okay? But when you make a joke about Puerto Rico, a joke that is grounded in some truth, in the sense that they have a trash problem, which is why the joke was made, they boo-hoo-ing and crying about everything except why the joke was made in the first place, the actual problem, okay? This is why these people, they're not serious, right? This is all fake. It's all fake, okay? And unfortunately, Republicans have to answer for the backlash that is currently happening here, and they have to basically set the media straight when it comes to their fake outrage over some jokes. And this is exactly what Byron Donalds did on CNBC as they were raging, like the rest of the media, over some jokes. Take a look.
By the way, and everything that's going on over there.
Daily News has racist rally.
Racist rally.
So, time out. But before you go any further.
Well, you were there. Were you there for the whole time?
I was there the entire time. So, to the New York Daily News, is it a racist rally if you have a black man from Florida who's originally from New York speaking at the rally? I don't think so. This is the problem with most media today. They're too busy trying to fearmonger everything except it's instead of actually talking about the facts and the substance. It was a great rally last night. Donald Trump obviously spoke. Did he say something that was off color? No, he did not. I spoke. Did I say something off color? No, I did not. Eric Trump, Laura Trump, Don Trump Jr., Elon Musk, Howard Lutnick. Did they say anything that was off color? No, they did not.
Distance himself from the comedian.
Sure, go ahead.
And this is what I think, to the extent that there are folks who, by the way, may agree with the policies of Trump.
Yes.
But don't want to vote for Trump. And those, you know some of those people. The reason that they don't want to vote for Trump is because they see, either in his character or the people who seem to support him, seem to be engaged in that or willing to engage in that, right? Because what you don't see, you don't go to other rallies for Harris or see in a Harris rally that kind of vitriol. It just you see. Look, there's. I don't think you do.
Kamala Harris spends half her time talking about her rival as Hitler. After he's been, there have been attempts on his life, not once, but twice. She's doing it right now. Every Democrat official at these rallies refers to him as Adolf Hitler. You got Hillary Clinton running around there hawking her book that nobody wants to buy, frankly. And she's talking about how this is akin to 1939. Are you out of your mind? You want to talk about rhetoric? Let's compare, but let me go back. We are talking about the comments of a comedian, and everybody's going to forget it in 48 hours. The real joke in America is the terrible policy of Kamala Harris. Let's talk specifically about Puerto Ricans in America today. Puerto Ricans have had to live under the same inflation unleashed by Kamala Harris. And that's not a joke, but they got to live with it. Puerto Ricans today are living under the same terrible border policies that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris unleashed. That's a terrible joke on the American people. We should be focused on that.
I'm not disagreeing with you on that front. I'm just saying, to the extent that you can speak to those people who are out there watching who say, you know what, I agree with the Trump policies, but I just can't abide by reading headlines like that.
In America today, and I don't want not to cut you off, but in America today, we have to decide, are we going to be trapped by the headlines of a media who, quite frankly, is in the tank one way or the other, or are we going to look at the actual policies that matter in your life? No, because people who matters. You can't take it out. But you
take the headlines out.
But you can't. You raise headlines. You can't take it out. We have to decide as Americans: are we going to be caught up in what media says to us, or are we going to talk about the reality facing our nation? And the reality facing our nation is we are seriously in decline because of terrible leadership in Washington, D.C. Those are the facts.
Yeah. So Byron Donalds made the point that actually really matters, okay? And he kind of got to the heart of what all this really is about, is that, again, they want people to think emotionally. They cannot win on the actual policy, right? Because they can't win on that, they try to do things like this, which is to blow up something that a comedian said, jokes that were told at a rally, and try to make it out to be something that is not, right? The reality is this, okay? Puerto Rico is suffering from the same policies that the rest of the country is suffering from. Okay. Also, on top of that, when you talk about the media and the headlines that are coming from the media, what people have to understand is that those headlines were already made before the rally began. Okay. The headlines, the talking points, the narrative was already created before anything was said at the rally. They were already saying going into the rally that it's a Nazi rally. They were saying this weeks ago when it was first announced. It's a Nazi rally. This is what they're saying. So when you have people who are on the left or the right, okay, because there are some people on the right that are also pearl clutching about this, which really annoys me. What you got to understand is that no matter what was said at that rally, didn't matter what was said, they were going to say that it was racist. They're going to say that it was white supremacy. They're going to say that it was fascism. It doesn't matter what was said. I think the bright side of this whole situation is that they're focused more on what this comedian said rather than what the president said, okay? Because if it wasn't the comedian, they'd be taking something that Trump said out of context and making it out to be something that is not, right? In this case, they're not doing that. They're focused more on the comedian rather than the president. And again, it doesn't matter what was actually said. They could have did a church service at the rally. The whole rally could have been a church service for 3-4 hours straight, and they would have said it was hateful, right? They could have read scriptures from the Bible, and they would have said, well, this is hate and bigotry. You must hate women, right? That they would have said something like that. Doesn't matter. Did you guys see at the beginning of this video, Al Sharpton talking about what Trump said about his white skin, right? Trump was basically talking about getting a tan or something like that. And this dude, Al Sharpton, tried to say, yeah, well, this is evidence that this was Nazism and white supremacy. Trump was talking about getting a tan on his white skin. That's how silly these people are, right? It's just as silly to say that is a form of Nazi support as it is to say that a joke made by a comedian is racist. And this is why I personally, as somebody on the right, I'm not going to sit here and engage in this pearl clutching. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, what the comedian said was wrong, and then he shouldn't have said it, blah, blah. No, I'm not doing any of that. Because when you do that, you're essentially acknowledging to the left that, oh, yeah, we were wrong. Oh, yeah, that was racist. When does the left ever do that? When do they ever acknowledge that anything that they say is wrong or offensive? These are the same people who, again, has smeared anybody supporting Trump as Nazi sympathizers, right? They did this going into the rally. You're talking about Jews who are supporting Trump. They're basically saying they are Nazi sympathizers, but they're not boohoo whining and crying about that, right? They don't think that's offensive. So why should I boohoo whine and cry about a joke? It's silly, right? It's silly for me to boohoo whine and cry about a joke when these people are actively saying that I'm a Nazi because I support Trump. But you want me to boohoo whine and cry about a joke? Nah. That's not what I'm doing. I'm going to stand on the principle of supporting free speech. He's a comedian. He told jokes. The jokes, hey, some of them were funny. Some of them weren't so funny. Regardless of whether or not you found it to be funny, they were jokes. They aren't serious. They aren't meant to be taken serious. And ultimately, at the end of the day, the people who are offended, that's more of a problem with them than it is with the comedian at the end of the day, because I don't want to ban comedy. And I'm not the type of person who's so soft that I'm going to get upset and butthurt over something that a comedian said. And I really do not believe that anybody in this country is going to change their vote based off a joke that Trump didn't tell, right? I mean, I'm just saying, Trump didn't tell the joke. So I'm not sure why would this affect anybody's vote, okay? But if it does, then you probably weren't voting for Trump in the first place, right? Let's keep it 100, okay? If this changes anybody's vote, it is likely they were not going to vote for Trump in the first place, okay? And if you're voting based off some jokes that a comedian told at a Trump rally, then you're an idiot, right? I'm just keeping it 100. You're just dumb, okay? And at the end of the day, it is what it is. I'm not going to sit here and try to capitulate to these people by engaging in the pearl clutching with them, because that's what they want you to do. That's what they want you to do. The left, they never apologize for anything. Anything they say does offend. Have you ever heard any of these people ever apologize for offending whites? They've never apologized for that. Did Obama come out and apologize for offending black men in this country, saying that they're sexist for not supporting Kamala Harris? And Obama's an actual politician. This guy's a comedian. Obama's an actual politician, a representative of the Democrat Party and the Kamala campaign. And this dude basically smeared black men in this country as sexist for refusing to support Kamala. Did he apologize for it? Hell no, he didn't apologize for it. So I personally don't think that anybody should be apologizing over jokes, okay? And I don't think this is a big deal. It's just another smear campaign from the media, and I'm not going to capitulate to it. I'm not going to bend the knee. I'm not going to pearl clutch. I'm going to stand up for free speech, and that's where I'm at. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.